Hi, this is Ann V. Brady, and I'll be reading an excerpt from my book, A New Beginning, the story of my adoption, life, and service, illustrated by Eric C. Brady. I enjoyed working in the TB laboratory, but sometimes I had problems with my hands. They tried to cramp up on me, and occasionally they would try to twist around each other. I would have to place my hands flat on a table to keep my fingers from twisting. Eventually, I asked my immediate supervisor, S, to train me in other areas in the lab. S sat down with me one day to train me in a procedure. I sat and watched as she explained the procedure and showed me what to do. I was perplexed when, after 20 minutes, she exclaimed, "I just can't do this." She got up and walked out of the room as she told me training was over. So I never got trained in that procedure. I didn't know what her problem was with me. I was listening to her and watching how she did the procedure. As far as I know, I did nothing wrong. In 2014, I went to see Dr. S, my ophthalmologist. He told me that I was going to have a corneal transplant in my left eye as it was getting worse. He told me that the right eye wasn't bad enough for the surgery yet. He performed a partial corneal transplant on my left eye. I had to go back every so many days so he could check that the transplant was taking. It took several days before the partial cornea stuck completely to the rest of the cornea. Ed and I went to the Botanical Gardens in Birmingham, Alabama, where we met with other furries to enjoy the gardens and to take pictures. It was a beautiful day out and we made some new friends. Below are pictures of Ed and myself as furries. Ed has got a self-made mask on with a hat, and he's wearing his arms or paws and a gray t-shirt. I'm wearing my head and my New England Patriots Brady jersey and bare arms because the only thing I had was a head. And it's listed as Geos, which is Ed, and Ronnie Fox, which is me. We picked Ronnie Fox because that's my nickname, and that's what I've always been called by my family until I married Ed. The next picture is a whole bunch of furries that are gathered together for a group photo. And then there's another one of a bear. And then there's a faraway picture of them on a bridge, Oriental Bridge. Ed and I went to Anthocon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We had fun. The convention took up two hotels. We could walk in our fursuits to several restaurants and be served. One restaurant that was welcoming to furries was Fernando's Cafe. When Anthrocon moved to Pittsburgh, Fernando's was struggling. Furries went to Fernando's Cafe and patronized the cafe. The cafe was welcoming to the furries, and the furries helped save Fernando's Cafe. Cafe still welcomes furries, and furries still patronize Fernando's Cafe. Ed and I loved Fernando's Cafe. The food was great and the staff very welcoming. While we enjoyed Anthocon, we decided that we wanted to go to a smaller furry convention. Anthocon was just too big. We found FanCon in Tennessee. It was a small convention, but we had a blast. We made a lot of new friends, some from Alabama. And below are pictures of different furries that I took pictures of. We found a place in Montgomery to hang out, and Mike introduced us to GT South, Geek Gaming Tavern. The owner was Mike. He would allow us to dress up in our fursuits. A lot of the patrons loved it. When we were there just to relax, we would play Cards Against Humanity, or I would play computer games. They had board games, trivia, card games, etc. One year we went there for a Halloween party. Below is a picture of everybody in their costumes. For the Halloween party. There's me as a naughty nun, and someone else, one of the owners, who's in a cape, And then there's a picture of me and Geos, the old otter. I wasn't dressed in my fur suit this time. I had my cowboy hat on, and Ed was dressed as Geos. That was another Halloween party. And then we took a picture outside. It's kind of dark of someone in costume. The other problem with our immediate supervisor, S, was that she would meet with other people in the lab behind closed doors. If I had to file paperwork in the filing cabinet, they would cease talking when I walked into the room. S didn't like confrontation, so she would never confront you or correct you. She would send you an email. She would send an email to let us know about any changes to lab procedures. The problem was she would send us an email while we're in the isolation room processing specimens, making slides and culturing them. So we would find out after we finished processing the specimens by checking our emails. S would then get mad because they changed an SOP and we didn't follow a rule of procedure that we knew nothing about. Sharon helped me out a lot. One winter we had an ice storm. The lab was open. Ed wanted me to call in and take the day off because of the storm. I didn't and went into work. Ed called to tell me that I was stuck in Montgomery as they had closed the bridges. I was going to get a hotel room, but Sharon invited me to stay with her and her parrot until I could go home. We did get out of work early because the storm was getting worse. I stayed with Sharon for about 3 days. Ed and I took her out to dinner in Prattville to thank her. We had dinner at Ding House. Sharon and I helped each other out many times, inside and outside of work. I continued to ask S to train me in other lab procedures. I received training on a DNA sequencing machine, which I had no problem learning. We were tested quarterly by API on several lab procedures, and both Sharon and I passed, as did everyone else in the lab. Still, S didn't want to train me. I don't know the reason why. We rotated on doing the annual check on accuracy of thermometers on slide warmers, refrigerators, and freezers. We had to sign out an NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, certified thermometer for freezers, refrigerators, etc. We had to put an NIST thermometer in the freezer for so many hours and record the thermometer and the NIST thermometer and compare the two to see if the thermometer was within acceptable range. If it wasn't, we had to report it and order a new thermometer and not use the refrigerator or freezer. When Zootopia came out in theaters with permission from the local theater in Prattville, we fursuited at the theater so that before the movie, kids could take pictures with one of us dressed as a fox, wolf, otter, etc., if they wanted to. We did this on Saturday and Sunday. The theater manager had given us the okay, but he didn't tell the staff about the arrangement. We took turns, 3 at a time. We dressed in a small room. Those that didn't suit up took pictures of us with the kids. Some parents took pictures of us with their kids. Some parents or grandparents had their picture taken with us. Some children didn't want to have their picture taken with us, and that was fine too. We also got to see Zootopia. It was a fun and cute movie. We all enjoyed the movie. When my birthday arrived, I put in my application for Social Security. I received my Social Security and worked for a while. I finally decided it was time to quit. I felt like I couldn't do the work anymore, and I didn't enjoy working anymore. I was happy when I finally quit. And that is all for today. And everybody have a happy Saturday. Well, happy Sunday. Hope you had a great weekend. Looking forward to Monday. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you buy my book on Amazon.com.